Look at you. You look wonderful. You really do.
Nice to
see you.
Good to see you. You doing all right?
Yeah, great. How about you? What'd you bring me?
1987, pal.
I've wanted this for so long.
Look at your mustache. Look at this.
That's a worm. That's no mustache.
Nice to see you. Sorry.
See you.
Oh, good.
A good one. It starts when I wake up to the clock radio in the morning.
Are you changing page 4, Tom? You changing? Take 2, my Carmen.
It takes a lot of people. It's a lot of energy.
14 today. We're about 5 minutes away. 14 about 5.
Key is to give them something different, something memorable.
We're on the air, by the way, Kenny. We are hot.
Come home to the best. Only on News 4 at 5.
This was the original promo
kids.
ad that appeared in print. And I think back in the day there was actually a TV guide.
Oh, yeah.
Bernie had a mustache. That's how old this is.
Just fell off.
Did it?
Yeah.
It's the second thing to go, you know.
Well, you know, that's what I heard.
And you had just arrived.
You're working blue.
I
Just arrived at the station, right?
Well, I was watching you all from across the street, as we say in our business, right? I was at Channel 2.
Right.
And I was watching, and I thought...
You moved up 2 channels.
I moved up 2 channels. I thought I was going home to Chicago. And a guy named Bob Warfield said, "No, you're not." And I said, "Oh, yeah, I am." He said, "We want you to join our team." And then eventually it took 5 years, but I got here. And
They fired Warfield for that, didn't they?
Did he? Yeah, where is he today? Yeah.
Michigan weather. They say if you don't like it, wait a minute and it'll change. When you're dealing with something that unpredictable, you need someone you can count on. Chuck Gaidica. With 24-hour updates, state-of-the-art technology, including Doppler radar, Chuck's got what it takes to keep you weatherproof. So the next time the weather takes a turn to the guy you can count on. Chuck's got you covered, only on Channel 4.
Best move in my career, honest to goodness.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly enjoyed those
Certainly
years,
got to
don't you
work with
think?
some great people.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Now, you did weather?
I did weather. Okay, yeah. I was one
When
of
you get
many-
this old, you got to kind of just remember.
Hey, great seats, Chuck.
Got you covered, Bernie.
Rain or shine, Chuck's got you covered on the Newsbeat, only on 4.
I don't know exactly what year you all got here, because I know that's from '87. That's
2 weeks ago for me.
not really.
86 for me.
86.
Yeah.
The first time.
We'd like to introduce you to one of the newest members of the News 14, Bernie Smilovitz, who will be joining us.
Yeah,
Second
first
time.
tour of duty. Second tour of duty.
78.
Good evening. President Carter is back at the White House tonight after huddling most of the day with his top advisors at Camp David.
I was already here in 78.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah, you
early
were
part
you
of-
were working the weekends.
I was working weekends. I
Yeah.
actually worked almost
You
all
were
of the shifts.
very, very young.
So this is it. You didn't have traveler's checks. Your wallet's gone and all your money.
You're not very old
I'm
now,
still-
but
I'm still
yeah, I know. We're all young at heart.
Yeah.
And some days it's even harder.
Well, I told you when you came in, you still look like you're 40.
Thank you, Mort.
That's
you really
true.
do.
Only a nice former co-anchor would say that. And Chuck, you
And
haven't
you?
changed today.
Well,
You don't look a day over. over.
I just had another birthday, so there you go.
Did
I
you?
did
Happy
too.
birthday.
And you know, that's another story that didn't begin until I got to Channel 4.
84, we get that sunshine by Sunday, my birthday.
Having birthdays?
No, Dick
talking
Clark.
about them.
Oh, yeah.
Talking
Oh,
about
I
Talking
thought
about
we
your
used to beg
birthday.
for gifts on the air,
I
right?
didn't really beg for gifts, but
No, you begged for gifts.
Mort's birthday is the end of July, right?
31st.
31st.
Yeah.
And he would come on and he would beg for gifts. And so the first year I was here, I said to Mort, I think I got here, maybe it was the second year I was here, I said to Mort, I'm going to start talking about my birthday so much
Well,
that
how did-
people will forget you have a birthday. And he said, he always called me Charles. Charles, you go ahead.
That's what I
Well,
want
how
him to
did
do
Dick
is
Clark
forget I
as
have a
your father-
birthday.
How did that get started? You remember?
He started that.
Yeah.
Mort would say,
well,
yes, and your
well,
dad, Dick Clark.
You know, I've always felt especially close to you because your dad, Dick Clark, and I were such close friends. And
People are going to believe this for the rest of my life, that Dick Clark is my dad.
this guy looks so much like Dick Clark when he was
was younger.
alive. Yeah, when Dick Clark was
By the way,
alive.
for everybody in the audience who's under 40, that was a post.
He was the Ryan Seacrest early on, right?
Yeah.
So he looks so much like Dick Clark that I used to tell everybody he was Dick Clark's son. And some people started to believe it.
Well, you said it on the air, and when you're
In fact, your parents started to believe it. You know, I got a letter from your dad.
Help, send help. He can't hear anything.
I'm sure Bernie is asking some very articulate and wonderful questions.
So when did you decide to shed the mustache? I kind of like the mustache.
End of '93, I cut it off.
When you came back, and
I just cut it off. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
and you had lived with it all that time.
Well, I grew it because a agent said to me, "My God, you look like a teenager." And I went, "Well, that's not very good. I need a little bit of age.
Yeah.
Grow a mustache." So that's what I did. I grew a mustache.
Yeah.
So that was it. That's
You
the
still
only
got
reason.
you got your real hair too,
I have my
don't
real
you?
hair.
Yeah.
Not the real color, but the real hair. Yeah.
I still cut my hair while I do the sportscast now. Is that all right with you guys?
Oh, he's serious.
Put it on.
Bernie?
Put on. This is Laura Marone.
Does Donna know that she normally cuts her hair?
She cut some Donna's hair. Would you cut Donna's hair?
Could you give me a trim?
She can do you too. All right. Let's fire away. Pressure wave tracks to the northeast. Hey! We got a few little, what are those called over there? What's Gray. What? Gray? Here, I'll get it for you, baby. Yeah. Okay, take a look at
I don't think any of us have the real color except for Mort.
This is,
That's yours.
no, this is not.
This is what we want.
This is
Get a
not.
bowl in here and some color.
You got to
We
understand.
work with him.
This is not my real color. I did this to look mature.
Oh, yeah. It's working.
My hair is coal black.
Well, I'm not going to lie.
No,
I didn't either.
No, it was either.
I've been with
It
you
was either
through-
this or gray.
I've been with you through many different hair colorings.
Not really.
And a time for asparagus.
And happiness are just some of the things that can bring families closer together. We've seen how grandparents try and cope when they're denied that special role.
Rich with a history that was all our own.
The situation is even worse. He's played all over town, from Baker's Keyboard Lounge to Little Harry's.
I always kind of stayed in the same vicinity.
Well, yeah,
Blonde was not.
that's true.
It was either blonde or gray, and I said, let me do blonde.
I remember my wife said to me not long ago, she goes, you know, if you didn't have your own hair, you'd have been out of this business 20 years ago. So there you have it. So
Yeah.
probably
You can't
helped.
even see the Velcro.
No. You can't. It's easy. It's the button one now. You know,
Oh,
you
is it?
put-
Yeah.
Well, sewing them into the skin is a little
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
But once you get through that,
It looks nice.
snap them on and you're on your
Oh
way.
my God, you guys haven't changed at
And
all.
you know the worst part is the material's the same.
I was reading where Bernie's brother Harvey Smilovitz has just taken a television job with our sister station in Hartford, and then there is Zach Smilovitz that you saw just a few minutes ago, the younger, the good-looking member of the family. I tell you, these guys are becoming a sports dynasty.
So we have 5 kids, 4 grandkids. We have 2 more grandkids on the way in November within a week of each other.
Wow.
And this is another funny Mortism. So I'm walking past Mort in the hall before the 11 o'clock news, and I think we were headed for our 5th, Riley. And Mort's walking into the studio, and I said to Mort, hey, we're expecting. And he looked at me, because he knew we had 4, and he looked at me, he said, are you careless or Catholic?
He said both. I have 4. I've got 3 boys. The oldest is 13, 10, and 9, and I've got the most adorable granddaughter you've ever
awesome.
seen.
Just awesome.
2 and a half.
Well, I hate to challenge that.
Oh, well.
I know she's gorgeous.
I'm her grandmother. What else would I say?
I have grandchildren ranging from 27 down to 11,
Yeah?
and then 2 great-grandchildren.
Yeah.
So, and they're all fun. They're all lots of fun.
Oh, my God.
They call me Sky King.
You enjoy being a grandparent, too, don't you? And
I do. A friend of mine told me, he said, your kids are your investment and your grandkids are your dividends. And it is really true.
That's great.
That's a good line.
It's a great line, yeah. 3, I have 3.
Where were
2
all the
girls
great
and a boy.
lines when you were working with me?
Say again?
Huh?
Speak up. Speak up, I'm sorry, I'm a little bad on this ear.
Actually, I've got my good ear on this side, so you're lucky.
Now, what can I say about these 16 years, except that I could have asked for more and got less. Instead, I asked for nothing and got it all. I am proud to call him my friend.
Can you expect me to do my closing piece after?
I said, there's no crying in television news.
Well, how many years have you been off full-time here?
I retired 22 years ago.
22, and you retired.
6.
This month it's 8 for me. I came back.
Wow.
I came back for a couple years part-time.
We're encouraging everybody to become a force for good. And we've had the question, why Cody High School? Well, Life Remodeled met with Detroit Public School System, said give us a number of high schools to pick from that have need and hope. This one was at the top of the list.
It was 8 years ago this month, almost to the day.
What are you doing? Are you selling insurance I saw on TV?
I do. Well, that thing plays a lot, and I shot that 3.5 years ago. We're doing a new one here in a few weeks. So it'll go for.
You haven't changed a bit.
The window deals were all sewed up.
And this is a Carmen shirt. We want to stand up and model for everyone.
What?
It's beautiful shirt.
You like it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
Well, it
everybody
is
would love to
available,
see it.
special order.
Right.
Just go to the website,
What's the
Carmen
website? What was
Harlan
it?
Collection.
Carmen Harlan Collection.
Collection.com.
Really?
And, yeah, and we've got something for everyone.
Is there any sort of discounts, people who are watching today?
We can always work something out.
Look at these temperatures for tomorrow. Canton 74, Howell 70, Monroe 75. 68. I'm a crossing guard in the morning, too, for my kid. All right. Anyway, there's for your temperatures for tomorrow. Pick out one if you like it. All right. Oh, you know how we do that? Here's how we do it. No, come back real quick. Got me right? Come here. Here's how we do it.
Heads.
Heads. There you go. 68 for Fairview. All right, there you go. So come on over with me now. Stand down, weather boy.
Finally, I have always felt that the way we do sports around here has been a little too serious. It's time to lighten up and enjoy life.
So, terms of affection. Yeah. I have one that pops into my mind right away because you would call me Charles. Sometimes you'd say Chuckles.
Mm-hmm.
You called me Weather Boy sometimes, and you would. I remember there was a time where I wasn't coming into the studio at the beginning of sports, and one night, because we used to walk out of the building together an old couple. We would wait for each other and go out together. And Bernie came down to see me, and he said, "Would you stay out there because we have a lot of fun together?" It was one of the high joys of my professional career was to stay at the desk, even though I was never on camera, and just to play ball with whatever Bernie would throw, including these terms of affection, some of which would stick.
There has been some thinning going on across southern Lake Michigan, but not enough to really get all excited about seeing sun tomorrow. Are you excited about the sun, Bernie? Come on in here. Come on, Bernie. Are you excited about the sun?
I am, but
yeah.
I've been dying just to fix that.
Fitting now. You can see now as we bring you back home, lots of cloud cover, and it looks like we'll continue to see a few thin spots develop into the afternoon tomorrow.
And then I would kind of break the wall.
Hey, slow down, weather boy.
But I would break the wall. I'd come back behind.
Now, whose idea was that? Was that?
I don't think we had an idea.
You had an idea? You just kind of did it? It
sort of happened.
evolved naturally?
I just knew he was amazingly talented, had a great sense of humor, and why lose somebody like that in the studio? So I went and asked him, I said, would you just stay? And he said, how much? But anyway, and so he stayed, so it was great. I mean, you know, having you two there and then having Chuck stay, it was kind of a piece of cake. It was very easy.
Now there's Bernie, Channel 4 sportscaster extraordinaire.
Who, me?
With coverage so powerful it could just save your life.
Save your life? What are you talking about?
Bernie reaches out, taking you into the sports world like never before. You don't just get highlights, you experience them. Bernie Smilovitz on Channel 4. When it comes to sports, expect the unexpected.
Can I really save lives?
You know, the hardest thing for me was coming here and making people believe that you could enjoy sports. It didn't have to be hard, you know, and reading every baseball score and music and everything like that. It was much more enjoy it.
Number one, which Fred knows the words to Rocky Mountain High? He knows every word.
Oh, that'd be me.
There you go. Would you have guessed that?
I would have guessed that.
Okay, number two, which Fred's middle name is Dewey?
Also, I knew the majority of the audience that watched a newscast couldn't give a hoot about sports. I mean, the number was less than 5%. So I always kind of thought, growing up in this business, do you go for the 95 or do you go for the 5? That was always what my take was on this.
A group of talented individuals who alone don't pretend to have all the answers, but together do the research. Teamwork. If one of us succeeds, we all succeed. Trust. Respect. Teamwork. Newsbeat at 5, only on 4.
You guys should really take some stock in this. So I retired. I'm at the retirement party. Guy Gordon, who had spent most of his career at Channel 7 watching us, right, somehow. And he came up to me at the retirement party and he said, I finally figured out why you were able to beat us at Channel 7.
He said, most anchor teams are a straight line across the desk. And he said, with Bernie on one end, me on this end, and both of you in the middle, and we would play this. We never scripted anything. It was just the way it worked. He said the difference with the Channel 4 main anchor team was that you created a circle, and it kept going. And he said watching it as a viewer, as a competitor, he said it was never a straight line of individuals.
But you
it was
know what
always
was
a
at the
connection.
heart of that was that we liked each other.
Yeah.
We did. We were friends.
I thought that was a high compliment. Yeah. It was really sweet of him to say that, because I took it to heart. I think he's right.
Well, remember, if you live in St. Clair Shores, the Grosse Pointes, there were a couple of storms that brought heavy downpours. Look at Bernie. Is it working? It's still not working. We're able to cut to you, but it's still not working.
Now, it's a good time to stay inside and watch Bernie's special. 7:30 Saturday night is about the time that you'd want to watch that show.
You know, success is a complicated phenomenon. And I don't think there is any 1, 2, 3, maybe not even half a dozen things that you can point to, but collectively you put them all together. A good team, a solid news organization, a commitment, great promotion, good people of integrity, both in front of the camera and behind the scenes. There are so many factors that go into it.
I don't need to tell you what it takes to be an exceptional news anchor.
The attention of people all over the state.
We don't need to tell you how years of experience can make all the difference in the world.
Exists right here in the Middle East.
And we don't need to tell you how true commitment brings it all together.
Solidarity dead, but apparently here in Krakow.
But sometimes we want to. Come home to the best. Mort Crim, only on News 4.
Ego makes the people in front of the camera want to say, oh, well, we did it. But common sense tells us we didn't do it. We were part of a formula for success, and I don't know what the formula is, except that all of the pieces were put into place. They were good pieces. They were well thought out. And at some point, it all clicked. It all came together, and we did achieve our goal.
The person you can count on. Chuck Gaidica named Best Weather Person on the Newsbeat, only on 4.
And I think when I got here, they made a significant change. They moved weather next to Mort, and they told me to have some fun with Mort. And Mort and I became really good friends because we could actually joke about things, because Mort is a very solid, staid, even in person, you know, he would always call me Charles.
We got a look at Metro Beach a little bit earlier in the show, and there weren't a whole lot of sunbathers out there or swimmers.
So go jump in the lake. I can say that now.
You tell me that 2 or 3 times a month, especially in January and February.
Yeah, I know. Have you ever done it? No, I don't think so. I found it to be kind of a joyful thing that they put weather now next to Mort, because I was able to rub shoulders, goof around. I knew Bernie was going to goof around. So it kind of gave us a bookends to the whole anchor team, I think.
I gotta really say, you don't smell bad for a guy who runs to work every day.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
And around the newsroom.
I get squirted down in the back, you know, and bring me out.
We thought Carmen was perfect. Mort was the rock of journalism. And then Chuck came a year or 2 after I got here, and he was fantastic. So was I lucky? Possibly, partially. But I'd also done my homework on a lot of this.
5 years, 3
You
million.
gotta watch those cheap ties, because the clips will just come right down.
You're right, exactly. That's where it fell off, right there.
I think we all got along well together. We shared that camaraderie on the air.
Hey, Bernie, is Carmen there?
Yeah.
Oh, tell Carmen I say hello.
Carmen's here. Carmen's here. When are you coming to visit, Carmen?
Huh?
When are you going to come down and visit, especially when you're
I'm
wearing
going
a
to come
tux?
down there real soon to see
right.
Carmen. Not you, Bernie, but Carmen.
All right, good. All right,
Okay.
we'll let you go.
All right.
Good to see you, Lomas.
Okay, thanks,
All right,
Bernie.
bye-bye.
They're stalling real bad now, Bernie.
Well, I know in those days. He's out there.
You had these warm personalities, people who were having fun doing what they do and doing it well.
Some people think of sports as gentle entertainment. Others think of sports as a place for meaningful dialogue. And some people think it should be a lighthearted pastime. But me, I take sports very seriously.
You can only do this one way. It's the way you feel most comfortable doing it. You know, I know plenty of people who've sat here and tried to do it a different way and couldn't or didn't. This is who I am. I'm on this way, off the air and on the air. I want to have a good time. I enjoy having a good time. I love to laugh. I love to make people laugh. So, you know, that's kind of where this came from for me. And they supported it. The station supported it from the day I walked in to today.
Presenting Bernie's Bloopers. It's a wonderful look at the wacky side of sports. To err is human, so join Bernie Smilovitz for a mistake or two. Tune in for Bernie's Bloopers.
And the first thing I did is I brought in bloopers, and people were like, "Well, that's you're laughing. You can't laugh during sports." That was like a week or two, and then I read the papers, and the papers didn't like it. It was it's a hardcore group of sports fans in this town, which was great, but it wasn't the way I could do it. The blooper shows, they came to me after we'd done bloopers for about 4 or 5 months, and they said, "These things are really good." And I said, well, "What do you want to do?" And they said, "You think you could do a half-hour special?" I said, "I could do an hour special." And we would do an hour special 4 times a year.
You'll hear the voices of Tom Hanks and...
Now, did you get a Woody?
Did
you get a Woody?
And Buzz Lightyear, the whole
And
thing?
you got a Woody and a Buzz.
I did. What do they think I had?
I tell you, we didn't. Did you get one, Chuck?
No.
Bernie?
No, I wasn't.
I have a great line for that, but I'll shut the place down if I use it. We had the mayor of Detroit on, and now tonight the queen of Detroit. I mean, come on. What are you doing? Oh.
This was the Woody I was talking about. Believe me, I didn't sit and watch baseball and football. My grandfather did. He'd listen to baseball or football on the radio, baseball on the radio, and watch another sport on television. And I grew up watching him do that. So, but I never actually sat there, so I didn't really get involved in, the plays and all of the, all of the athletes and everything like that. But, once I started working, especially with Bernie, it became fun to watch.
You having fun building this and getting these guys pumped up? Well, Chuck? What the heck? Look, Jeffy. I'm sorry, we just had a technical problem, just kind of a brain thing.
So you didn't necessarily have to know all the ins and outs. You could still enjoy it, and I think that's what he brought, and I reacted to it.
I know this has always been a big moment for you, and in the past, it was really great for us because when you were just starting out, there were moments that were forgettable.
God, and I swung so hard. I'm not getting better, Bernie.
Well, then you really, really, really got good. There you go. Thought since Carmen had gotten so good at this that what we would do is we would blindfold her and see if she could hit the ball that way. 1, 2, 3, swing. Oh my God, she hits it better blindfolded.
Wait a second, did it go?
Did it go?
Where did it
It's
go?
like your best hit ever. It was down there. Oh my God, that was great.
Now let's get the torch.
Carmen brought her Olympic torch and gave it to me today because she knows this makes no difference to me. I don't even know what the hell to do with this. But this she feels I won't cause much damage with, so. All right.
Go, Bernie!
On their way to the moon.
Mort has worked right next door to me.
Ronald Reagan will be sworn in. John Paul II has arrived. Good evening. I'm Mort Crim. More political news.
You may know Mort Crim as Channel 4's straightforward anchor. And throughout the years, Mort Crim has professionally reported the news as it happens. No hype, no bias.
Well, those were the days when there was honesty in journalism.
Well, I think you're right. I think it has changed dramatically. I think the whole, two sources and so forth and so on before a story. I think a rumor leads a newscast now in some instances. This place is really good. It's very, because it has the underpinnings of Katharine Graham and the Washington Post.
Let me tell you, Bernie, I watch local news because I still travel a lot, and I watch local news in markets all over the country. I honestly believe that the most honest and best journalism is practiced by local stations these days.
Sure.
You don't get it on the cable channels.
Yeah.
Because I think stations like WDIV still try to tell the truth, still try to do it as objectively as possible.
Yeah, I agree with you.
But now they're putting alternate, in front of truth, reality. It's the alternate reality or the alternate truth.
Yeah, the other truth.
What is that?
Yeah.
So there's this air of confusion. So people don't know what the facts are. And even if you have the facts, that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to listen.
I think the biggest danger to our democracy right now is our inability as a country to agree on facts before you even get to opinion. Just to agree on what's real, what's true.
Or how about to disagree and still be civil? Even if I don't like what you're saying, doesn't
What do you mean by that?
Well, you want to take it outside?
All right, let's get some money down. Who are you betting on?
Yeah, I'd go for Mort.
Oh my gosh.
I am me,
Over the years, Melissa and her son Corey went from doctor to doctor looking for a solution.
It's called the assistant's lure, and we saw the tragic consequences back in 1985.
And covered a story. You came back, you wrote your script, you went into the edit suite.
And sat down with them.
And before you put that story together in its final form, you corresponded, you talked to other people. Maybe another reporter would look at your script, or the assignment editor, or if it was a really big story, you might have the assistant news director or a member of management come in and look at that story. It was a process. And by the time that story was assembled and put together and gone on the air at 6 or 11 o'clock, you could be reasonably certain that the facts were going to be right, that the story was going to be correct. Good evening, I'm Mort Crim with a News 4 update. President Carter said tonight the U.S. will withhold some sophisticated technology from the Soviets and limit some grain sales as a result of the Russian invasion of Afghanistan. Now compare that to today's reporter out in the field with a live camera. No process, no
It's a lot of responsibility.
collegiality. Nobody looking over your shoulder, and you have to be your own editor. You have to make sure your facts are correct, and you're doing it on the run because everything is live and right now. And I think that you particularly see that in cable news, where you don't have that process, and technology has created that monster. And it's good when you're covering breaking news that you can put people in the middle of a disaster or of some important event that's going on. But I think it's negative when it comes to how stories get processed before they reach the viewer.
I'll say one thing. I think the strength of this station is that still exists. There may not be as many people to run things through and have them
it's still
checked and
a process.
But I believe that the heart of this is everybody wants to be right, especially in this building. I don't think anyone comes here and makes up facts, alternative facts, whatever you want to call it, fake news. I don't think anybody in this building does that. If they would, I don't think they'd be in this building.
Yeah, and I think it primarily applies to the cable.
Yeah.
Channels.
Yeah, I think at least in this local situation.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so you could keep watching.
A good thing really happened to us, though. I had a tooth I had to take out. I couldn't move or do anything for about 3 days, and I just sat on the end of the bench, and by staying out of their way, they played well. Like Gibby told me, he said, see how beautiful it is when you stay out of our way.
Well, I mean, Sparky's, I would still say, pretty close to the single greatest sports figure that I've had to deal with in my entire
Bernardo.
career.
I mean, he called you the
It was
affectionate
unbelievable.
name all
I mean,
the time.
But he knew baseball, and he knew how to motivate.
I don't think. Honestly, I don't think people wanted. I don't think he wanted that. I think he enjoyed the camaraderie, the shtick, the back and forth.
The object of this game is try to get the best players, and you try to win.
But also, by gosh, you better have a group of guys that you enjoy being around. If I'm going to get on an airplane and I can't stand to look at John, and I don't want to look at Charlie, and I don't want to see Pete, that's time to go home.
But I mean, just watching him, it was a joy.
He did it with ease.
I would watch it from the perimeter. I mean, I got to meet him a lot, but it was really great to watch you two go at it together. Because
well, you know, when I got hired, they sent me right away to Florida to do promos, and I walked in, and the first thing he said, Bernardo, just like that out of the box. And it never stopped. But it was the first thing.
Yeah.
We did these promos, and they were kind of cute. It was kind of interesting.
This is Bernie Smilovitz. We're outside Sparky's office to get the lowdown on the big game. Hey, Sparky, best of luck to you.
Luck, Bernie? No luck. Salt, maybe a couple knocks on wood. Luck? No, there's not such a thing.
And I said, you know, are you enjoying this? He goes, hell, it's another buck. You know,
what I want to know is, how did he find out that was your real name? Because I didn't tell him.
He was, the one thing about Sparky was he was so aware of everything. I remember we did a pregame show once, and he came on and he was really angry at John Lowe, who was a writer for the Free Press, because he had written that there had been a players-only meeting because the team wasn't playing particularly well. And he got so angry, he came on, he began screaming, I don't allow that. I don't allow that. Right? You believe me, don't you? And I go, well, I'm not positive. I don't know what to believe. I'm not there, so I don't know either. Well, he got even angrier when that happened.
Wow.
And he finally left, finished the show, was angry, and I went, well, that's going to kill it. We had a game the next day and a pregame show, and he came on. It was like nothing had ever happened. Nothing.
So he knew how to leave it behind.
Yeah. I mean, that was just him blowing off steam, but that was the only time I'd seen that.
Sparky made a speech at, I think it was a luncheon honoring him. Mm-hmm. Old Newsboys. Remember, they used to collect money
for good fellows.
And they were honoring Sparky, and his autobiography had just come out. I'm sure it was ghostwritten, but it had just come out. And Neil Shine, the publisher of the Free Press, introduced him, and he said, ladies and gentlemen, he said, I'd like to present Sparky Anderson, the only man who's ever written more books than he's read.
You like that, didn't
Sparky
you?
loved it. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he loved it. He had a great sense of humor.
Not even, I mean, he just wanted to have a good time. That was his whole purpose.
He loved
One more thing, Carmen. You are a very special lady, and I wouldn't come in and do this for anybody but you.
And you know what? I know that.
When he would come out of the dugout and his head would go down and he'd walk over to the pitcher, you knew what he was going to say.
Over the line. I feel Sparky just spoke to us.
Yeah.
So he could get to Carmen. Honest to God, I do not
Well,
think
a lot of people did that.
Yeah. But Sparky was first in line.
No.
Oh, he did. He had a great relationship with you, and you loved him.
The feeling was mutual, for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he made you love the game. He really did. There was something about him that made you enjoy the game even more.
Yeah, no question about it. I think the moment, not only in the first 8 games, but I think in 162, I think there'll never be another day like the day that Carmen sung the Take Me Out to the Ball Game. It was the finest thing I had ever heard.
The reaction in the dugout, I mean, the players must have gone nuts.
They went crazy. They went totally crazy.
And the thing about Carmen is, you know, she used to carry both of us. Now she only has to carry me.
That's right.
But he's one of a kind. I miss him every single day.
Oh, you have to. It's hard to replace
because, you know,
like
also,
that.
we would call him up, and we'd call the PR guy and say, hey, can we have Sparky on at 5:45 today? And the PR guy said, yeah, sure. And he'd be out there every day. It never missed. He was always there, 5:45, 6:15, whatever you wanted to do.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to one of this state's truly great holiday traditions, the annual Thanksgiving Parade.
Wow, doesn't that look great? That's just one of many displays across this great new Kobo. I'm Chuck Gaidica. Good evening. I'm a weatherman, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, but I'm also a car nut. So I sort of nudged my way into the show tonight.
Hello, and welcome to the Big Four at Mackinac. I'm Mort Crim. We're going to get started today by introducing our panel.
The $3,500 pledge just came in.
I think we ought to add that pledge to the tote and see how it all totals up right
Let's
now.
take a board. There it is, over the $1 million mark.
It's the 1990 Hudson's Freedom Festival fireworks.
Chuck, I think this show was longer. There were a few surprises. There were more colors, more different effects. The crowd really went home pleased tonight, and certainly we've had a front row seat on the fireworks.
On the last Fame and Fortune, Pat Veal from Harbor Beach won $50,000. Find out who'll be the next big winner on Fame and Fortune.
You know, the other great joy of not only coming to Channel 4, but being here all those years was the opportunity to do other things.
Now, the star of Chuck Gaidica's second show, oddly enough, the star of the first Chuck Gaidica show, Chuck Gaidica. Now, here's your host, Bernie Smilovitz.
All right, now, if you asked people what they would describe as Detroit's greatest sports moment, you'd probably get 10 different answers.
I'd like you to meet, and I want to welcome Donna and Brian to the program.
Good evening, I'm Mort Crim, and welcome to Channel 4's new primetime talk show, Free for All.
From Mandela's arrival to the stirring rally at Tiger Stadium and a complete wrap-up of his visit, News 4 was there with the most complete coverage.
I mean, all the specials, the big events.
Oh, yeah.
Somehow I stumbled
4th of
into
July
the lottery
and
show. And,
Yeah,
you know,
didn't you do that?
lasted for
Thanksgiving
12 years.
parade, that was
Thanksgiving
always
parade.
it.
And as early as we got up, our good buddy Chuck Gaidica got up even earlier to get out and check on some of the pre-parade activity. Let's check in with Chuck.
Well, good morning, Mort and Carmen. We're down on Canfield off of Woodward where the bands are getting ready. This is one of many streets where they're in a holding pattern. They're practicing. This one from Birmingham Seaholm.
The thing I liked about the Thanksgiving parade is you and I were always in this heated booth, and Chuck was out freezing his butt.
Yeah. It's the only thing that kept me warm was running up and down the street, you know.
Chuck? Well, Mort, I'm getting the best view. I'm right on the toy train, and man, it's cooking. We've got music to go with us. This is sponsored by the United States Postal Service.
The thing I loved about the Thanksgiving Day Parade was watching you three from home. It was just one of my great memories.
Giving Mort and Carmen my love to your families.
And to you, Chuck.
Thank you.
This is actually really pretty cool.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Look
Number
at
4.
that.
Fantastic. Look at that.
Now, what position are you going to play, Mark?
The one on the couch where you just lay back and do nothing, you know that one?
Bernie, it's just coincidental that I have a gift for you.
Oh my God, well thank you. I'm staying though this time. No.
You seeing this?
Very nice. Thank you, Lions. Appreciate that.
That was sweet of them.
It will get worn.
I'll wear it in good health.
Just a little something to remember.
Thank you.
By.
I'm a little steamed at you guys,
For-
period.
Why?
Well, I've been sitting here since all of you left, and the last I heard was you went out for lunch. And now, all of a sudden, here, 7 years later, 10 years later, what are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
Because I'm wondering where you're going with this.
Well,
yeah.
I'm pissed. Can we use pissed on this show? Is it all right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't be pissed.
No, I'm pissed.
Why?
Come back.
We still love you.
Because I'm still here working, and
We
you
still
guys
love you.
are out flying and having
No, I'm
more
not
children.
flying
How
anymore.
many do you have now?
20. Well, that's Canadian. Yeah.
Well, I was 42 when I came here, and I had worked at 3 television stations. And I was at a point in an age when it was important to me to do something with my life that I thought would matter, that would count for whatever years I had left in active journalism. I was never disappointed by this station or its management. That doesn't mean I always agreed with them. It doesn't mean I didn't sometimes get my nose out of joint. But fundamentally, I felt I was working for a company that did things for the right reason.
I never could have imagined, you know, being in the White House, flying with the Blue Angels. I mean, just opportunity to put my kids through college. I mean, just all kinds of things, you know, and the opportunity of working with all of you. Just the pinnacle of professional career for me. Looking forward to every single moment, because I would drive home for dinner to be with the kids. I couldn't wait. I loved my kids, and I helped put them to bed the best I could, you know, by 9 o'clock, but then I had to come back and do a show. To look forward to that 4 times a day for 27 straight years, that says a lot about all of you. It really does.
I'm stunned. I thought somebody would find out about me and cuff me and get me the hell out of here. I never thought this is. And also, I think for me, it satisfied my parents. I remember when I was in college, I told my parents I was going to be a sportscaster, that I wanted to be a sportscaster my entire life. And my mother said to me, you're going to be an accountant. And I go, no, I'm not going to be an accountant. You're going to be an accountant. I'm not going to be an accountant. I got my first job in Washington, D.C. at WTOP Radio, and my mother listened, and I called, and she said, I was never so proud of you. I knew you would do it.
Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
You know, I think about, got a chance to watch television growing up here in Detroit and seeing shows like Milky's Party Time and, you know, and wondering why there weren't other kids of color sitting in that audience. And if you think about it, that little girl became the main co-anchor of the local news station at the very station that she was watching. And so it shows you that with time, things change, and they change for the better. Yeah. And I can, you know, just tell you that the years that I spent here, all 38 years, I wouldn't trade those for anything in the world. I learned so much, not only about myself, but about the people around me and about the community that I grew up in and I thought I knew. And I had so much more to discover and to learn, and I will never trade that for anything.
I believe Detroit's best years, and by the way, mine, are still ahead of us. So no tears, no sadness. Let's simply take on the future together.
But I love you guys.
We love you too. Love everybody. It's just great to be here.
Almost reached a point in life where the question is, who's Mort Crim?
And you're asking it? Yeah.
I'm asking.
It's great to see you guys.